that is a John Deere. That's a big boy. Wow. I can't tell what size that is, but that has desert camo on it. That's pretty awesome. Very cool. So anyway, that's a 360. I think we're looking for a 470 out here. There it is over there. Okay. Something about the body sensor. Something about the body sensor being out or not working. Alrighty. John Deere 470G. This might be it. Yeah, this is going to be it. It's got the old TS1 sensors on it. That looks like something that I did. Yep. I think I had to fix this and put a new cover on it. That's definitely one of my artworks. Alright, so this body sensor should be up there. I have to get up there. Okay, there's the body sensor. You really only need two tools. One to cut the zip tie and one to, loosen up the cable if you need to. Because you're just basically checking the cables. Make sure the cables are on good. And while I'm up here, just check out everything else. Never hurts. Wow, it's muddy out there. Muddy. Okay, so one zip tie is missing. So, just give them a wiggle and a pull. If they come apart, you're pretty much guaranteed a bad cable. But, those cables are not coming apart. So, most likely, if there's no damage on it, most likely it's going to be a sensor issue. But I have had places where they said, oh, it's the body sensor, and it ends up being something else. So you have to go in the system and turn it on and check. Oh, yeah, it's nasty out here. This is Indian land right on the border, South Carolina, North Carolina. They knew I was coming. There is no display. Okay. Can't do much testing. Look what we have. Yeah. So, like, got their display. We can go and test it. Oh. Sorry, I know I get this camera moving around quite a bit. Plug it up and see. Before you ever plug these up, check in there. Make sure there's no dirt, no rocks, none of that stuff. Check that end and check this end. Make sure there's no bent pins, dirt, rocks, or anything like that. And I don't know. Sometimes it's better to take a look at it. Like, what I mean is come in and actually look at the display first before you go out and touch anything. Because if you remember, I touched those cables on the sensor. It might have been, the body might have been red, but because I wiggled the cable, it might have fixed the problem. So, do or you don't, that's up to you guys. But, I mean, there's nothing going on here. What we can do is go in and, well, I got two files. One November 21 and one an older one. Last modified 11/21. Let's edit that one. Let's look at that. Why is this? Okay. I was gonna say, why is it on GX60, but it's on 55 too. I want to look at this body sensor. Label up, arrow forward, that's correct. Filtering 3. Now I don't have a whole lot of room to be spinning around here at all, but all you really need to do is get that moving. And look at it and make sure it makes sense. And what I like to do is I like to kind of whip it back and forth if I can. Just get it really going. Because if you lose the sensor, then you know. But I mean, there's, wow. Something's really loose. Feels like that stick. Wow. I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong here. I think they may have just jumped the gun. It might have flashed red on them. Or maybe I fixed it by touching the cables. I don't know. The one thing I check before I leave is just make sure that my vertical and horizontal match on the bucket. Alright, yeah, so I got the skinny on this machine. It's you know, you got to learn to talk. You got to learn the lingo. Is it the GPS side or is it the sensor side? They don't know. I asked questions and they said, oh, well, when we went up against the tree line, it went out. Well, if you go up against a tree line and something goes out, it's not going to be your sensors, but it is, because your GPS is going to go out, which basically controls your sensors. So, is this a sensor issue or is this a GPS issue? I'm just going to go through every single connection and inspect every single aspect of the TopCon system real quick and see if I see anything that's out of the norm or about to go bad, and take it from there. You can't just start throwing parts at it. You cannot do that. It gets expensive fast and you may not even fix the problem. So I think that's what they're talking about right there. The whole bar goes red, but that's initialization. That is going to be your GPS right here. You see how low they only have 7 satellites that they're using, and their precisions are horrible, 500, 800. Now we're next to a tree line. Check this out. You see this whole line right there, this whole area right there? That's that tree line. That we're not picking up any satellites over there. We're picking up satellites behind us, but I mean, that position looks okay. It just not getting a whole lot of satellite in this spot. Let's see if they have use GLONASS sats, QZSS sats. Let's just see if that improves. Now we have 9. That's better, but still just a bad spot, I think. This is their problem right here. GPS. It isn't the sensors, it's GPS. Distance to base. Okay. That's their problem. But we're going to inspect everything anyway. So just lay everything out like this. That way you can walk up to it and inspect it nice and easy. And don't forget, you might need a couple little tools. And just start going through and looking at everything, just checking out everything. Now it's got a little bit of damage to it, but probably not enough to damage that cable inside. and just go over every square inch of the cabling, make sure it's not damaged anywhere, and physically just move them around and see if they're tight, see if they'll come apart. We'll have to climb up there to get to the body and the boom. And because I think it's more of a GPS issue, make sure you inspect the GPS cable. These are aftermarket ends. That means that, you know, the factory cable had already broken off its end, and I probably came and put that on, most likely. Same thing with this one. That was probably me. But I mean, these cables look good. I don't see any damage or anything anywhere. And physically take apart the radio antenna and check for corrosion. Yeah, see that? That's all corrosion right there. Dielectric gel on it, but see how that dielectric gel keeps it clean? That's why you use that stuff. Keeps those contacts clean. Sometimes you can lose contact with dielectric gel too. Yeah. Just to eliminate the possibility that they're losing radio, but their GPS count is low. It's below 10. So once you get in between these trees and stuff, you know, you're gonna have a hard time staying connected. And we've already checked out that the body sensor down there. Just check out the cable going up to the boom, and I have to physically climb out there and just check those ends on that sensor. And you can see the display in here when you're out here working, shaking the cables and, you know, all that stuff. It never once went red because of the cables or the sensor side. So that tells me they're having a GPS issue, which would be either radio or location. I mean, look at this. It's hills and valleys, and they are down in the woods. So yeah, I think they're gonna have some issues. That could be definitely what they're complaining about. If it wasn't so muddy, I would take this for a spin around the job site and see where I'd start losing it. But see, now I was at 13, now I'm at 12 out of 16, which is good. I mean, that's good. Anything over 10 is good, but you still look at the vertical precision is still 500s. So and you see, we just went from 12 down to 10. You look at both main, that's the main, the one sitting right behind me. That's the auxiliary, the one sitting over there. The main is primarily for your elevation in your north and east. Your auxiliary, sorry, that's your main, that's your auxiliary. Your auxiliary is primarily for the orientation of your equipment on the model. So when you're looking at the main and you're flipping back and forth, you want to see if there's a huge difference between these two. There shouldn't be. They should be pretty similar in everything they're doing.